Hi guys. Here we're looking at another question from quiz number 2, which I think was somewhat difficult, and so we're going to walk through that one here as well. So we're given in a graph the supply curves for two firms, A and B, and we're asked to draw the total supply curve. And so the total supply curve is always just the total amount of the good that would be supplied by both firms at any given price. So in order to do that, let's start down at the beginning here. And so at a price of 2, we can see that firm A is willing to supply 0 units, and firm B is also willing to supply 0 units. So our total supply at a price of 2 is just 0. And now if we jump up to a price of 4, we can see that firm A is willing to supply 2 units, and again firm B is willing to supply 0 units. Right? Firm B doesn't start supplying anything until the price gets above 6. Okay, so at a price of 4, our total supply is just what firm A is willing to supply, which is 2. So this gives us another point on our total supply curve. If the price were to go up to 6, we see that firm B is still willing to supply 0 units, but firm A now willing to supply 4 units. So our total supply is just what firm A supplies, 4 units. Now as we start to look at higher prices, say 8, firm B is going to be willing to supply something. Right? So at a price of 8, firm B is willing to supply 1 unit, and firm A is willing to supply 6 units. So our total supply at a price of 8 is the sum of those two, or 7 units of output. Alright, and we'll do one more price. And so at a price of 10, we can see that firm B is willing to supply 2 units, and firm A is willing to supply 8 units. So the sum of those two is 10. So at a price of 10, our total supply is 10. Alright, and we could keep doing this for other prices, but the slope of that line would stay the same. So we'll just go ahead and connect all these dots. And that would be our total supply curve. Alright, so the key to that total supply curve is just that for all prices that are below 6, the total supply curve is just firm A's supply curve. Right? The total amount that any firm is willing to supply is just whatever firm A is willing to supply. And then at prices above 6, now we have to look at what A and B are each willing to supply.